So, you know how sometimes you get a sequel and you wonder, how do you take something that really hit, something successful, and make it, well, better, or maybe just bolder?
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with something like AI, which is already so captivating, but also potentially pretty terrifying.
Exactly. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into a sequel that's got a lot of people talking, M3GAN 2.0. And our sources for this are excerpts from a really detailed review. It looks at the critical buzz, but also gives more sort of personal analysis of the movie itself.
Okay.
So our mission today is basically to unpack what might make M3GAN 2.0 a standout sequel. We want to explore how it's maybe pushing boundaries and, what it might be saying about our world right now.
And all spoiler-free.
All spoiler-free, absolutely. We're just going to pull out the key nuggets, the important bits of knowledge to help you understand why this movie is generating so much buzz.
Sounds good. Where do we start? The critics.
Yeah, let's start there. Okay, so unpacking the initial buzz. It's pretty significant. The early word from major critics seems overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
Which suggests, M3GAN 2.0 isn't just a lazy repeat. So what's really driving this excitement, according to the review?
What's really fascinating, I think, is how the film's being praised for, confidently pushing beyond just being a horror movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, critics aren't just saying, oh, it's good horror again. They're actually noting a pretty significant step into broader sci-fi action territory. It feels like a very calculated evolution.
Sci-fi action. Okay, so what does the review say about the scale of that shift? Are there any unexpected comparisons critics are making? Because, M3GAN, you don't immediately think blockbuster action.
Exactly, and that's what's kind of wild. Time Out and Games Radar Plus specifically praise this shift towards a much bigger, more cinematic feel.
Okay.
And get this, they're even citing influences like Aliens and The Terminator.
Wow. Seriously, Aliens for M3GAN.
Believe it. Imagine that kind of evolution, going from this, really unique viral horror idea to something drawing comparisons with these huge sci-fi action classics. It really signals some bold ambition.
Yeah, it suggests they weren't just content to rehash the first film's formula, which, let's be honest, would have been the easy route after its success.
Totally.
So how does this blend of genres actually play out? Does the review say if it, works?
Yeah, Gizmodo apparently highlights this perfectly. They call it a clever blend of horror, action, and camp.
Ah, the camp factor. Still there.
Oh yeah. And they do it both smart and wildly entertaining. So it's not just throwing different things at the wall. It sounds like a really cohesive, genre-bending thing that kind of knows exactly what it is.
That self-awareness feels key for M3GAN, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it manages to balance, the genuinely unsettling moments with exciting action and that sort of unique, darkly funny campiness we loved in the first one. It's a tough balance, but the review implies they really nailed it.
Okay, but wait. Action, intensity. Yet, Cinema Blend and NBC Insider mention it still keeps its PG-13 rating.
Right.
That seems like a real tightrope walk. How does it deliver intensity and emotional depth without going, full R-rated?
Well, it seems like it speaks to a pretty clever filmmaking approach. The review suggests the film builds tension and, resonance, not through just shock value or gore,
Okay.
but through smart story choices and really digging into the characters more. It sounds like it focuses on psychological suspense, the implications of the tech and the themes,
Right.
rather than just, explicit stuff.
Which allows for that wider audience reach, but still delivers something impactful.
Exactly. It kind of proves that real terror or emotional connection doesn't always need that R rating,
Yeah, that makes sense. And Widescreen Online sums it up nicely as an all-new wild chapter in AI mayhem, celebrating the fast pace and satisfying spectacle.
Wild chapter. I like that. It suggests a real escalation, doesn't it? In scope, intensity. And the review mentions the fast pace keeps the energy high, and the spectacle isn't just fluff. It actually serves the story and amps up the themes. It does make you think, how often do you really see a sequel pivot so confidently and expand like this while still keeping what made the first one special?
Good point. It sounds like a genuine evolution.
Yeah, transformative even.
Okay, so beyond the critical thumbs up and the genre-bending stuff, the review apparently digs a bit deeper into what really makes the movie tick, offering some more personal insights.
Yeah, getting into the heart of it.
So what did the review highlight there? What's core to its narrative power?
One thing that comes up consistently is the unpredictable plot.
Ah, okay. Not just M3GAN Goes Wild, Part 2.
Right. It apparently doesn't just rehash the first film's beats. It significantly expands the universe, takes actual narrative risks, keeps you guessing,
Yeah.
what's M3GN going to do next? How does this whole story unfold?
That avoids the sequel trap of just like doing the same thing again but bigger.
Precisely. It opts for genuine surprises, plot turns that push things forward in unexpected ways. You have to keep reconsidering what you think is going to happen.
Okay, interesting. But it sounds like it's not just about the plot twists and the action. The review points out that underneath the sci-fi surface, M3GAN 2.0 offers a surprisingly sharp critique of our world.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really intriguing.
Because it's easy for a message movie to feel preachy, or for, a killer doll movie to just be surface level. How does this one manage that critique without feeling like a lecture?
Well, according to the review, it weaves it really seamlessly into the story and the characters. It never feels forced.
Okay.
Which raises that question. How does a killer doll movie reflect these harsh realities so well? The review explains it basically exposes some darker sides of modern life.
Like what?
Things like tech overreach, emotional neglect, and how quickly governments and big companies jump to exploit new tech.
Tech overreach. Okay, I can see that with M3GN.
Right. It makes you think about that line between convenience and dependence.
Yeah.
Especially with AI designed for personal, even emotional roles. Where are the boundaries?
Yeah.
And the bit about governments and corporations exploiting tech, that feels incredibly relevant right now, with AI developing so fast.
Definitely.
The film seems to explore what happens when, profit and control maybe overshadow the ethical stuff. And the review calls it haunting because it feels so real. It's like holding up a mirror, even if it's a slightly warped funhouse mirror.
Wow. Okay, so that's the societal critique. What about the characters? The review emphasizes genuinely touching emotional moments. That sounds maybe unexpected.
A little, yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the film really grounds its sci-fi premise in human relationships.
So, Gemma and Caddy, how does their bond evolve?
It apparently hits even harder this time. It moves beyond just that initial sort of reluctant guardianship. And Caddy's journey is highlighted dealing with grief, finding empowerment. Violet McGraw's performance is singled out as being even stronger.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, it seems the film understands that for the AI stuff to really land, the human stakes have to feel real. It's not just about the robot. It's about how it affects this vulnerable kid at the center. Makes the threats more personal, the wins more earned.
Right. And okay, we can't talk M3GAN without talking spectacle. The review mentions better action and dance sequences.
Oh yeah. If you like the hallway dance in the first one.
Who didn't?
Exactly. Well, the review says you're in for a treat. It talks about a real leap forward in the spectacle.
How so?
Like slickly choreographed AI battles, thrilling, but also kind of eerie and precise. And more of those creepy, iconic robotic dance sequences.
There's more dancing.
It's almost the visuals are richer, creepier, and just way more entertaining. That was clearly embraced what went viral about the first film's weird mix of horror and performance and just pushed it further.
And it's not just for show, presumably.
No, the review suggests these sequences really amplify M3GAN's unnerving presence, her capabilities, makes her an even more compelling, maybe even more terrifying presence. It shows her evolution, the higher stakes.
Okay, so wrapping this all up then. The sources, the review excerpts, they really paint M3GAN 2.0 as, well, everything you'd kind of hope for in a sequel. Bolder, smarter, maybe more emotionally grounded.
Yeah, it seems like it really respects what made the original work, what made it go viral. But, and this is crucial, it evolves. It doesn't just repeat.
Right.
It delivers the high-stakes action, the timely themes that really connect with where we are now, and these unforgettable moments. It kind of proves that you can find real knowledge, some critical insights in surprising places.
Even in a killer robot movie.
It shows how pop entertainment can actually spark some proper reflection.
So it sounds like whether you're into psychological thrillers, or you like thinking about sci-fi ethics and AI, or maybe you just appreciate, cool killer robots dancing.
Can't forget the dancing.
Never forget the dancing. This deep dive suggests the sequel is definitely worth checking out. It leaves you with stuff to think about beyond just the jump scares.
Absolutely. And, this whole exploration of M3GAN 2.0, it really highlights not just how a movie franchise evolves, but also that ongoing cultural conversation we're having about AI.
True.
Given how the film explores AI and emotional connection and these societal structures, it really makes you think about our own relationship with technology, doesn't it?
In what way?
Well, as AI gets more sophisticated, more integrated into our lives, especially in roles that might mimic companionship or emotional support, What are those subtle ethical lines? The ones maybe we aren't seeing clearly yet. What happens when we start delegating emotional labor or even important decisions to machines? What are the sort of long-term societal impacts we should really be considering right now?
That's a heavy question to leave us with. Definitely something to mull over. Got any thoughts on this deep dive yourself? Feel free to share your opinions or maybe your favorite moments if you've seen the first film down in the comments below. I'd really love to hear what you think. And hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more reviews and content on the latest movies and dramas. Oh, and hit that bell icon too so you won't miss any new updates. Until next time, stay curious and stay cinematic.